Alright, so I'm continuing a little streak of playing control decks here in Timeless with what I'm calling Commandeer Beans. It's a deck that's playing both 4 copies of Up the Beanstalk here and 2 copies of Commandeer, which comes to us recently out of the Most Wanted additional set from Outlaws of Thunder Junction. And what we really want to be doing in this deck, very obviously, is breaking up the Beanstalk by playing a bunch of things that cost more than 5 mana, 5 or more mana, but we don't pay 5 or more mana for. So what we're looking for here is essentially to get some Up the Beanstalks on the battlefield, having some control elements in this deck, and then basically finishing the game by taking a bunch of turns with Time Warp, our Uro, or a bunch of Oko tokens. So some new cards that are coming out in this deck are going to be obviously Commandeer, which I have played on the channel before, but by the time we're getting this deck tech out, it's going to be a little bit old by now. But yeah, Commandeer, 7 mana. You can exile 2 blue cards as a. You can pitch 2 cards to it basically, in order to gain control of a spell and choose some new targets for it. Cannot be a creature, so that is one thing that we got to watch out for. But this is going to be able to take out a counterspell. It functions pretty much as a 3-card counterspell. It also can yoink something like another Planeswalker, which is generally really relevant. And we can also make sure that our opponent's effects don't target our things, potentially. An opponent's Leyline Binding, perhaps. What we want to be doing in this deck is really just breaking the fact that Up the Beanstalk can give us so many cards. Our Leyline Bindings, we have a very easy way of getting Domain for. Commandeer, obviously 7 mana. Time Warp, if you kind of think about it, is essentially a free spell because you just get to take another turn after it, and we'll be getting to draw an additional card for what we do. And if that extra turn ends up being an attack with Oko or Uro, then that's even better. Lorien Revealed, a card that we can island cycle at the beginning of the game to find our Xander's Lounge or our Rogren Triumph to make sure that we have all 5 colors. That will be good. Lorien Revealed then casts for 5 mana as well to draw 3, so that draw 3 becomes a draw 4, and if we're paying only 5 mana to do so, that's pretty darn good and above rate. Other than that, everything else is kind of just a good Bant shell. We're running the max playset of Swords to Plowshares and Brainstorm along with 3 mana drains and Teferi times 2 in order to disrupt our opponent. Up the Beanstalk, very obviously, to draw some cards, and then a new card 3 steps ahead here, which I've very much been liking, is a Spree spell that allows us to pay at minimum 3 and at maximum 8 in order to get anywhere between 1 to 3 instances of these spells, or instances of these effects, rather. Counter target spells great. Create a token that's a copy of target artifact or creature is pretty cool. Just get to copy those Okos, get to copy those Uros if we need to gain a little bit of life. And then it's also card draw if we need it to be. So all of these things pretty solid. I think there's nothing more to do after this than just get after it and try to get some games in. We do have 4 Mystic Sanctuaries here because we're going to want to be looping these mana drains, these Commandeers and such like that. So that will be on the menu today. Hopefully should be a good few games coming up for y'all. Before we hop into the games, make sure to like and comment. It helps me out with the YouTube algorithm, and subscribe for videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That's all for me right now. I'll see you in round 1. Alright, this is round 1. Time Warp's essentially a dead card here. Breeding Pool plus Flooded Strand is nice. We can basically get up to 4 colors this way, and then all we're really looking for after that is a white mana. I think, though, I might want to get my Jeskai Triumph instead. Okay, well, I think we are taking this hand. We have good 3-drops in this one for sure. And then the Leyline Binding doesn't necessarily need to be just 1 mana for us to make use of it, so this is fine. We're going to start with the Breeding Pool to see what we get off of the Flooded Strand, or should I go for a Flooded Strand to try to curve out? I think it's probably more important that I curve out here, seeing as I am on the play. But we are a reactive deck, so we wouldn't feel too bad about playing from the draw, essentially, if we take a turn off. So we'll start with the Flooded Strand as described. I'm going to go ahead and find what we want here. I could do this on turn 2, but I think I'm going to not do that. Now, I think probably it's going to be the Rogrin Trime that gives us white-red, which is perfect, and then we're going to be forced to find that Xander's Lounge later. We won't be able to just top deck a white source and have our 5th. So, it is what it is, but I'm happy that it did that, seeing as we did get Supreme Verdict, and Xander's Lounge would not have helped us get there. We're going to put this in tapped. Here we go to just a 2-mana Leyline Binding, which is great. Opponent shows Restless Fence, something that can become a creature. It's going to be Ragavan. Ragavan dashed, no less. Let's see what they rip here. Oh, they actually just ripped my Commandeer. That's hilarious. So that's 1 of 2 in exile, unfortunately. Commandeer not really going to do too much for them right now. I think that next turn it's going to have to be Leyline Binding, as I hope to draw a 3rd land. They are probably just waiting on priority from Commandeer, I think, which is kind of funny. Monastery Swiftspear. They have no way of casting Commandeer. There goes Ragavan again. And we actually do find the Polluted Delta. That's awesome. So we're going to find a white mana source. Hallowed Fountain will be the one. And let's go for... Let's see. Oko would get hit for 3, but he'd be definitely healthy enough. If he got hit with a Ragavan Dash plus Shock, that would be bad. Bolt plus Monastery Swiftspear could be bad. I think we're okay to do this Oko. Oko should survive with like 1 pip of health. Even if they kill the Oko, this does represent unbolting myself for 2 mana, which is convenient. We could lose something to Ragavan here, but I'm not really worried about it. I don't think that my cards are going to be particularly good for them because we play a lot of high CMC stuff. So that is good. We see 3 mana here. What's it going to be? Will it be Dashed Ragavan again? I think that I've made it not a very good option for them, so hopefully they decide not to do it. They're in the tank a little bit here. And it's going to be Orcish Bowmasters. That does hurt my Uro prospects. And probably just bolt on Oko. Totally fine. Alright, so Oko will stay alive. I get a land here that is Supreme Verdict next turn. I will be able to do it the turn after this. So if I hold Xander's Lounge, I could Teferi bounce something. Definitely think I'm going to make this into a 3-3. Teferi's also not bad. Teferi Plus is pretty solid. That gives me instant speed Supreme Verdict on the following turn. Plus they won't be able to cast stuff on my turn. Alright. Do that. Teferi will be very annoying for them to deal with. Teferi Plus just to make them have to double spell. Alright, now we see if they want to pay the ultimate price to get an Oko off the battlefield. And they eat their best creature. Trading if I have to, and then we Supreme Verdict, hoping to save one of our Planeswalkers. It'll just be a Fatal Push here, so I think that they can get to Fairy just about. They could definitely take out both the Planeswalkers here, but that would be a lot of resources spent just to get board wipe next turn. And in the meantime, we'll have Uro to eat up all these cards that hit the graveyard. They are still thinking about these plays. Let's see what the move is. And they just got to pass through here. Alright, so it's going to be almost everything at Teferi. No, so they're going to try to kill Oko, chunk Teferi. Got it. Okay, will they drop a Ragavan on end step is the question. They will not. Suppose I just go plus here. Say go. At combat, we Supreme Verdict instant speed. Here's the Ragavan dashed, perfect. Will there be something else? Alright, here's Supreme Verdict. And that clears the board. Perfect for us. We'll see if there's a spell to take Teferi to 1. We have not been Skewer the Critics. Or they cannot cast Skewer the Critics right now. Ragavan is in the graveyard. We can kill the DRC, which I think I'd really like to do.
Might be a bad idea.
I think we go Uro here, holding up white mana. Alright, draw a card, put a land on the battlefield. There's our Up the Beanstalk finally, so with one more land, we're going to be into the range of being able to Time Warp. I'm going to get rid of the DRC before they can do anything to trigger its Delirium and gain more life back. And they only have 3 cards. We're very close to getting our card draw advantage going here. Absolutely we kill this next turn after playing Up the Beanstalk. So with a face, alright. Means that must be Skewer the Critics. Otherwise I'm pretty sure they would just put that out. That's Teferi. We're going to get 2 points of damage on Teferi, sure. Going to be annoying having to deal with that guy. We now have the ability to cast our Time Warp, which is great. Surveil 1. Another Up the Beanstalk kind of hits right now. Let's plus here. Play Up the Beanstalk. We want to do so holding 2 white mana up. And so then I think I am just going to exile the Bowmasters, which I should have done before. That's unfortunate. Yeah, let's just get rid of that now. They will still get to put him to 1. This is actually going to be pretty close. They're going to dash Ragavan. We're going to Leyline Binding it. We may lose it to Teferi, which is awkward. But we're going to have Up the Beanstalk on, so that's fine. Alright, we'll stop them in combat and flash in our Leyline Binding. Alright. Let's wait for them to declare attackers. They're actually going to face, how interesting. Alright, so we get a card here with Leyline Binding. It's another Leyline Binding, how sweet. That's perfect. We take Ragavan. They are looking for cards, I believe. Do they kill Teferi here? I think they have the ability to, it would seem. Secure the Critics, that makes sense. So that's why they went in with 2 creatures. They wanted to make sure that even through my removal, they could cast the Skewer. And then we just lose a little bit of life here. So now all we're really facing is a 2-2. We are pretty safe to go Up the Beanstalk and get set up here. Draw a card, we find a land. I'm going to brainstorm looking for a fetch land so that we can shuffle some stuff away. And I actually don't want to shuffle any of this away, so we're going to put Supreme Verdict as our draw for next turn in case for some reason they have Thoughtseize. And then I think Teferi is also a pretty good one to have just generally, but I think Oko is going to be our finisher right now, so we want to have Oko on top of the library. So we'll draw the Supreme Verdict, then Oko can come down the following turn. I think my next turn actually looks like double spell Oko Teferi though. So we top this, and we pass. And actually, I'm going to use Leyline Binding to gain me back some life anyhow, so we will draw into those next 2 cards regardless of how I order them. Yeah, we're going to have a great next turn, and they are top decking with a red-black deck, which can draw cards, but is unlikely to do so as fast as we are with our 2 Up the Beanstalks. Yeah, and I think I do Leyline Binding the 2-2. It is very possible in some situations that opponent just ropes us out here. So if that's the case, I'm just going to let this one run, mute myself, and I will see you in round 2. Yeah, looks like we might actually end up having that one. If they end up coming back, I'll add some more commentary. But enjoy a very quiet ASMR of us winning the game. Okay, they are here. I thought they were just out of here. We're going to Leyline Binding, draw some cards. We'll play until they concede. Boom, boom. Our advantage engine is online. We are just at 10 life, but I think we should be good. They draw, we draw. They know that we have an extra turn spell here, so we can now chain 2 extra turns in. Things should be pretty good. We want to make sure to plus right away.
I will enlighten you. Surely you must be famished.
And we got to Fairy Plus.
I can no longer stand by and
Alright. Pretty good turn for us. We pass. Mount Doom, they're going to kill me off of that. So if we actually do get in danger of dying to burn, we're going to have to maintain some of these foods. I think we should be fine, but this is a never say never type of situation. Hive of the Eye Tyrant, alright. We can just hold up Supreme Verdict to kill that. So I think maybe I just go for Oko Plus again. Okay, actually, yeah, that is kind of brutal. We now lose our Uro. Alright, so here we'll go with Oko, create a food, Fairy Plus, play up the Beanstalk, then we have held up Supreme Verdict. And yeah, Swords to Plowshares works too. Alright, so this will be essentially a strip mine. They put us to 5. We hold up a bunch of life gain essentially, and I see that they did not decide to go Hive of the Eye Tyrant. This is a little bit late for that. They're already in Declare Attackers. Okay. Yeah. Oh wait, no, now they can't attack. Okay. Well, they're gonna get the attack trigger. I probably should have done this a little better. Either way, we're gonna Swords to Plowshares this. Now they don't have their attacking land. We are good. Goodbye, Oko. We can't get you back. We'll move to turn, and now we start to Oko our tokens. Yep. To Fairy Plus. And
I am not making this up as I go.
I don't think that I need to I don't think I need to Time Warp right now. We'll do it after this next turn because each Time Warp represents 6 damage. 6 plus 6 is 12. Yeah, okay, I think we are pretty good. That thing can attack. I don't mind if it attacks, that's fine. Sure. Skewer the Critics, possibly putting us to 1. Okay. Sure. I think in this case we just eat the food. Go to 7. That's why we banked one of those. Sure. Still at 4. I will move to my turn. I suppose I could just take an extra turn, draw some cards. Alright, I think we should be able to win from this position. Lorien revealed, another great one. Yeah, we're looking pretty good here. And so now we just loop with Mystic Sanctuary and we're going to win the game. So we'll create a food token. Plus the fairy. Land drop per turn is Mystic Sanctuary. Mystic Sanctuary puts Time Warp on the top of our library. Take action. We will cast the Time Warp targeting us. Trigger, trigger, trigger. And then we just loop Flooded Strands, Mystic Sanctuaries, and recast all these. Cool. Alright, opponent sees it. We have the victory in round 1. Alright, cool. Thought we were going to die to burn, which is always the biggest enemy and natural predator of control decks. But, like control decks do, we were able to turn that corner with a well-timed board wipe, and then just dug the heels in and continued until we won. At the end, this looks like a really astounding board state. Big loyalty to Fairy, big loyalty Oko. Oko's going to town even through the exiling of our Uro. And then triple Beanstalk. I mean, you saw how fast that filled up the hand. That was pretty nice. Cool. So that is going to be round 1 in the bag. Here comes round 2. Alright, round 2. What do we got? That's triple A-line binding, which honestly, with this up the beanstalk, is not terrible. So we will grab... Alright, what optimizes our... Well, actually, everything's a tapped land here, so we can just go Hedge Maze into... Well, okay. We're, first of all, keeping this hand. Second of all, I am going to be starting with our... whatchamacallit? Grixis Triome. Because if we draw any of our white-green, which we're pretty likely to do eventually, we are set up with up the beanstalk. Either way, we do have to take a little bit of time off in order to actually get these tapped lands in. But now what we do have is the ability to brainstorm. Now if they play Bowmasters here, which they do, I'm going to get my brainstorm out on top. Perfect. The 2 cards into the library are going to be double leyline binding, I guess. We don't have a way to... Well, actually, I can get rid of one of these things. Right, we pretty much want removal. We want to be able to do things with up the beanstalk. We do want lands. If I play the white untapped mana this turn, I can do up the beanstalk, and unfortunately cannot do... what is it called? Leyline binding for 1 because I didn't play the hedge maze. I think I'm going to put the white source back. We can... Okay, actually, no. I take that back. We're going to source the plowshares next turn, plus up the beanstalk, so I don't really care what I do here. I'll put 2 ley lines back. Yes. That is the move. Alright, we'll take a damage here. They get to do their thing. Gotta avoid Thoughtseize. But, I mean, even if they Thoughtseize us, we still get to do what we want to do, which is kill the Bowmasters. Alright, there's our happy little leyline binding, and the problem is that we cannot up the beanstalk. That's so sad. We're going to exile the Orcish Bowmasters here. We do get to hold up Mana Drain, however. Mana Drain will be held up for a Shieldred almost exclusively, in my mind. I may need to take a turn off to get the up the beanstalk down, but it is what it is. Field of Ruin. Cool, let's make it blue. We have a need to get green. There's our green. That actually made our leyline bindings cheaper. Let's go. We'll pass. They get in for 1. Alright. We are not in a bad situation. So we now can go Hedge Maze here pretty happily. We are 1 island off of Mystic Sanctuary, which I'm going to keep in mind. I think I'm going to try to do some up the beanstalks. Alright. Let's see how much we end up eating with Bowmasters here. They did not have another one that I'm aware of. And we have somehow tapped in such a way that my Xander's Lounge is still up. That's awkward. I think we exile that with Leyline Binding this next turn, using up the beanstalk. 3 steps ahead. I think I'm going to just drop this out as a tapped land. We go up the beanstalk into kill 1 ring. I just want to do that now. Now we have Brainstorm as well. Trigger. We are drawing cards as much as them, if not more. Let's kill that 1 ring. And we're doing good on life total right now. I'm going to Brainstorm now, just in case they have another Bowmasters. Supreme Verdict is strong. Oko is strong. Time Warp can go on top. I think 3 steps ahead is not as good as Mana Drain. We can't really even cast any right now, so I'm going to just put 3 steps ahead on top. I think I want to draw 3 steps ahead first. Perfect. Alright, so the draw engine is online. We just gotta hope that we can deal with the Bowmasters. So we want to hold on this Mystic Sanctuary. I'm going to attempt to resolve an Oko. And I do it holding up Mana Drain. Make a food.
Welcome to the feast.
And I'm going to hold up Mana Drain. On top could be Swords to Plowshares. That's unfortunate. I think I'm going to Mana Drain this. I want to keep my Oko. We'll probably just end up cracking off this Time Warp then.
Why do you cross me?
Okay, so let's plus this. Make this into a creature. This is a free attack this turn.
Let's broaden.
Before we move on, we're going to go Time Warp. We're going to pick up Time Warp with Mystic Sanctuary. Another Swords to Plowshares is awesome. Here's Mystic Sanctuary, putting our Time Warp on top. Take action. And then with Flooded Strand, we can do that again. Okay, things are looking pretty solid here. I can go another up the Beanstalk, and we might be able to win from this position. I'm not totally sure. I think we pass holding all these cards, unless I want to remove their Morbid Opportunist. I'm going to do that now. I think we want to attempt to kill. Alright, so we attack. We will Oko make a token. Let's cast this Time Warp. Trigger, trigger, trigger. Another Time Warp is perfect. We can Flooded Strand now. Flooded Strand, activate ability, get Mystic Sanctuary number 3. And I think we are more or less just good to finish things out from here. Cool. Opponent agrees. They're going to let us get out of here without demonstrating the combo anymore. That's going to be another win with this deck. Alright, 2 for 2 so far. Let's go into round 3 and see if we can keep it going. Alrighty, here we go, round 3. Pretty heavy on the brainstorms here. I am interested in doing a brainstorm, put Time Warp back on top, and then shuffle away with Flooded Strand. That'll be after Meticulous Archive. Allows me to scry for looking for another land here. I think Lorien Revealed is good. This gives me Brainstorm plus Lorien Reveal Cycle. So here's this. Here's this. See what we want to put back here. I think we don't want either extra turn spell. Perfect. We have Rogren Triumph, so this covers everything but green black. Yeah, because we just have Jeskai. Now it's a little bit less efficient if I just get my black mana here. I gotta decide if I want to fetch black now or fetch green. I think I want to make sure that I have access to the black mana. Leyline Binding almost online here. Ooh, Fearsome Whelp, okay. I think that with how long I want this game to go, I don't want Fearsome Whelp to stick around. So we have access to, I need green basically, right? So this is that. I can go Leyline Binding on Fearsome Whelp, draw some with Brainstorm, cycle Lorien Revealed. Maybe should have brainstormed first. Either way, we're going to brainstorm before this Lorien Revealed. 2 cards into my library. Mystic Sanctuary doesn't go off yet. It'll go off after one more. I'm going to probably just put both Sanctuaries back. And then we'll Island Cycle here. And what are the colors that we're looking at? We have blue, black, red, green, white. So we have all colors here. I would like to double up on my green and blue for Uro. So I think we need more blue. Alright. I think the breeding pool just works out then. Alright. Next turn looks like up the Beanstalk, get a Leyline Binding going. Eek. So what was this? At the beginning, this permanent deals 2 damage to you unless you sack it. Alright, we're not going to sack that. And then is this... okay. We will decline to sack. Let's go for 1, 2, 3, 4 mana if I want to make that work, but now my life total's in a little bit of danger, so we're going to just put this in tapped, go up the beanstalk, play Leyline Binding. Triggers we draw. I think now I have enough mana to be down to just sack the Xander's Lounge to the trigger. Could take one more here for Lorien Revealed. I think we will keep it one more time. Well, that was kind of dumb. Did not do what I meant to do. This Commandeer is going to be really good now. So am I okay to exile some cards? I'm probably going to play the Flooded Strand, do some brainstorming, and then figure out how I Commandeer if that ends up becoming a thing. Hope they play something large here. We're probably taking whatever dragon they... well, fortunately we can't take creatures. That's unfortunate. Yeah, this might be a little problematic for us. Tear the Peaks comes down. We need to brainstorm. Yeah, I think actually Commandeer is a very bad one for us to have. So are all these Time Warps, oh my gosh. Alright, let's do this. We are just looking for... we don't have enough blue sources, so it has to be something that is an island. We have enough breeding pool type stuff. We need white. Enters tapped. We take 5. We're going to cycle for Lorien Revealed. Just thin our deck of lands. And we can Time Warp. We can Time Warp a few times. That can help us find a Supreme Verdict. Got to double check that there's no Supreme Verdict in the graveyard. There is not. I think we do want to have a Mystic Sanctuary. Okay. We go to 5. We go to our turn. It's a Supreme Verdict. I believe I go Supreme Verdict, destroy all creatures. Then go Mystic Sanctuary, Supreme Verdict on top. Take action. We draw that, then we can Time Warp into Up the Beanstalk and try to find more. They now have to worry about their stuff getting removed. Alright, we can survive an attack by that. I think I go Hedge Maze. Surveil 1, we don't need another land. I think we just go Time Warp here. Essentially giving us 2 cards. 3 steps ahead. And then this is target of a spell or ability whenever a dragon you control. So I have to kill that with Supreme Verdict. I can offer Teferi as a sacrificial lamb. I don't have enough mana. I actually do have enough mana to Teferi Supreme Verdict though. Teferi plus and then Supreme Verdict could be good. If they have enough to hastily kill me, they will. Otherwise, they play a creature, I bounce it with Teferi, and then Thunderbreak Regent doesn't trigger. So I think this is worth 2 damage. Now the question is, do I have 3 white pips? I have 1, 2, 3, and then I need 2 blue. I think I do have enough for this. So Supreme Verdict. We got to make sure that we hold up white, blue, and then generic. Oh, right, and then I do Teferi like this first. So I need white, white. Okay, cool, this is good. I almost didn't hold up Flash Speed Supreme Verdict. That would have been awkward.
I got this.
Alright, cool. End turn. We likely stop at combat depending on if they do anything scary with their next turn. We still represent an infinite turns kill. We probably just want to find Uro, though, at some point. Okay. So they're going to show me lethal. That is the smart thing to do. Draw 2 cards, discard a card, not really going to work. Supreme Verdict. So they are going to be rewarded for their patience, and they get to have a hasty creature here. It's going to be another Thunderbreak Regent. So then I can Polluted Delta, put Supreme Verdict back on top, bounce my Leyline Binding with Teferi, giving them probably Fearsome Whelp. Go to 2. Things are getting scary. Mystic Sanctuary here. Get back Supreme Verdict. Take action. -3, returning Leyline Binding. They get their Fearsome Whelp back. We draw a card. We cast Supreme Verdict. Alright. End turn. Leyline Binding still costs 2, but that is such a fine discount to have to make. We have an extra turn if we need an emergency one. Leyline Binding does redraw us a card. Teferi can still give us some instant speed effects. Town Razor Tyrant is kind of annoying. Should I counter this? Well, that can be sent back to hand. They're going to take away one of my lands, though, if I do this. I think I gotta counter this. I will pay the extra. No, I can't. Am I one off? I am one off, darn. Would have been a good opportunity to use Spree, but don't get to do it, sadly. Mana Drain, awesome. That's great for us. Alright, we plus here. Get into our holding pattern. If it can be Leyline Binded, I want to Leyline Bind it. If it cannot afford to be Leyline Binded, then I Mana Drain. We might get a cheap Time Warp. Alright, so I need to make sure that before their end step, I kill that. Oh, I guess I'll do Dick Combat. Yep, so they're going to be smart about this. I think in this situation, do I go to 1? I think I do go to 1. Okay. Okay, Roaming Throne comes in. Alright. What'll this be? I think Roaming Throne is kind of annoying to count. Well, I probably want to counter it, and then I probably also want to Leyline Bind. So we'll Leyline Bind the Fearsome Whelp. Let's do that. See what we draw. Brainstorm, sure. So we'll get rid of that. And then we will Brainstorm, see if we have Mana Drain stuff to do. We found Uro, that's huge. Would I take a Roaming Throne? Do I? No, I think I want to... I need a... Well, first of all, I cannot take a creature, so Commandeer doesn't matter. We'll put Commandeer back. I don't think we need Breeding Pool. Unless. Oh, I don't know if I want it. I think that an extra turn... We're 1 mana away, so if I get rid of mana... Actually, no, with my Mana Drain mana that I will do this turn, I'll have enough mana to Uro plus that, plus Time Warp. So I go Breeding Pool back, resolve this, draw the Breeding Pool, cast Mana Drain. They're tapped out, we're ready to go. Move to turn, make some mana, Teferi plus, cast Uro. Gain some life, put a land down, that's going to go untapped, sack our Uro, then Uro comes in for real this time, and I hope that that was holding up 2 blue mana. I think it was. Perfect. 1, 2, 3, we want to hold the Supreme Verdict actually, 3 steps ahead, and actually I do want Mana Drain saved. Do we have more lands? We do have more lands, so okay, I'm actually going to unselect some of these. We basically just want all the lands here. Alright, all 5 lands, perfect. Submit 5, here comes Uro. And we do get to put a Temple Garden out tapped. And then we go Commandeer, or not Commandeer, Time Warp here. Get a card draw here, it's another Mana Drain, that's perfect for us. Oko's even better. Oko plus, create a food token. And then I think I just flash spells here. Attack with Uro, gain some life. We're back to 10. Put this onto the battlefield. I don't have a way to draw a card, so I will just get my Time Warp back next turn. So I'll cast this on their end step. And I think if they don't have something quick, we have the win. Dragonlord's Servant, don't think I care. We want to get the big one here. looking for a big fish. I think we've actually turned the corner here against all odds. That's pretty crazy. It was really feeling like we did not have it. Terror of the Peaks, absolute mana drain here. I think that might get the concession out of opponent. Alright, they're going to move to our turn. We flooded Strand here, pick up our Time Warp, Time Warp, that's the one. Mystic Sanctuary, we have 2 more Time Warps. There goes Time Warp. Bam. Take action. Move to my turn, we draw. We make some mana, we use that to cast our Time Warp, targeting ourselves. Get to draw. We can remove their creature. We Oko our token. Yep. Teferi will plus. We're going to Swords to Plowshares that. This is 9 damage to face. We have an extra turn coming up. That is going to be GG's, I believe. Yep, 6 exactly. Move to turn, move to combat. That is the win. Amazing. We were able to do it, and we even had another extra turn coming up. Thanks to opponent for sticking around and letting us demonstrate this. I think they had a pretty cool Dragons deck that I do want to highlight. I was actually very surprised with how good that Land Hate Dragon was. Which one was that? That was the Town Razor Tyrant. This was actually pretty annoying to deal with. It increased the cost of all my Leyline bindings. But luckily for us, we drew enough cards and played enough lands that it didn't really matter. Cool deck, but we were able to take that one. Good games overall. It's round 3 done now, and we still have not lost the game, so let's hop into round 4 and see if that's going to happen to us there. Alright, it's round 4 here, and we have a pretty solid hand. We have Up the Beanstalk into Uro. That's going to give us some ramp and acceleration into this Time Warp. Once Up the Beanstalk is resolved, then Mana Drain and Brainstorm can be great for us. Polluted Delta will need to fetch green, which is a little awkward. We can get... probably just going to have to be the Simic land. Opponent goes down to 6 cards. Do I think that it's worthy of a shock or not? I think I'm going to just play it safe, go tapped. We went down to 1 life in the last round. Might as well play a little bit around something like that. They show green. It's going to be Elf Ball. So I kind of want to get a Surveil in that produces green. No Up the Beanstalk just now. We're going to get rid of the Time Warp for now. I think if we ever get into a situation where that's really going to be that good, it's going to be a little bit further on in the game. Well, Lorien revealed we have basically just a need for red-green, so that will be our good friend the Xander's Lounge. Miss Uro will be good, but I think we're going to just have to play a Beanstalk and then hold up Mana Drain. Allosaurus Shepherd. Alright, we're looking for that board wipe here. We do need to produce another white mana, is it? Yeah, we need another white mana. Okay. Well, let's redraw with Up the Beanstalk, see if we can find both the white mana and our board wipe. Well, we found the white mana. Now we just need to have a board wipe tucked underneath that. That'll be a 3 and 47 draw. Not feeling super likely that that's going to happen for me. Tyra the Bellicose. Interesting. Bellicose makes me think of Pellicose, like the fat. When the mana ability of this creature resolves, put a number 1 when counters on it equal to the amount of mana that this creature produced. This triggers only once each turn. That's pretty sick. So, tapped Temple Garden, or do I pay 2 life, go with an Uro, and then just pray that I find what I need? I think that's what I do. So we shock. Uro. Gain some life back. We do actually find the land. This means we can double Brainstorm potentially, but that really doesn't do anything for me. 3 steps ahead helps me get further, so if I shock this, that doesn't matter, so we just put this in tapped. There'll be a Brainstorm, and then we just try to draw through it. We'll pass. It's going to be the best for me if this brainstorm reveals a fetch land, or I guess the board wipe that we need. Big attack coming in here. I think we can really only survive this one and we're dead next turn. If this is a Bowmasters, that'd be wild. Leyline Binding is something. That might give us another turn. It's 5 damage, 10, 16. Yeah, so we will be able to survive another turn if we Leyline Bind. I have the potential to Time Warp. What goes into the library? Nothing can really be... I can surveil one thing away. I wonder if it's the Mana Drain. I don't know if the Mana Drain really works for me. Tough decision here. 3 steps ahead is kind of a lot of mana to deal with. Don't think I need another Brainstorm. Okay. We can draw the up the beanstalk. So down to 6 mana. I move to turn. And we need to get lucky. So Meticulous Archive. We're going to surveil this away. It's going to be Brainstorm to look for our board wipe. If we were to find it, we can still cast it with a mana that's not tapped. Darn. So I think then, what do? We have our land for turn. We're gonna Leyline Bind the Tyvar, drawing a few cards, and then we'll just hold some things up. So Flooded Strand will be my next turn thing. We'll shuffle away a Time Warp because we have one in the graveyard for the Mystic Sanctuaries to loop. And maybe I only need 1 Mystic Sanctuary right now because I'm representing 2 with the Flooded Strand and Mystic Sanctuary. So we do this. I want the Time Warp on the bottom. We go up the beanstalk, we redraw. Okay, we're actually redrawing into this stuff anyway. I forgot that this was going to happen, so none of this really matters. Then we put Leyline Binding out next turn. Alright. We have the ability to Mana Drain if for some reason that would be better for us. Oh. Oh, okay, this is actually still bad, right? Yeah, no, it's bad. Okay. Every creature is too big. We'll let them attack, and I think they have us here. Alright, so we will finally be taken down here. Actually, well, okay, we're definitely taken down even if we draw another Leyline Binding. Let's see if we would have had it. Would be the card after this. Man, could have had it. I could have been at 1 life here. Would that have been possible? What did I play prior to this? Did I Brainstorm? Yeah, I did Brainstorm. So if I Brainstorm using the Xander's Lounge, that was it. So hey, that's a lesson for y'all. Make sure that you really count that mana, especially when you know that you're playing these off-color triomes to make your Leyline Bindings cheap. Well, pretty good game. I think we actually had the opportunity to turn the tide there, just unfortunately missed the timing a little bit. But hey, those are mistakes that you guys can learn from. Anyway, that's round 4. 3-1's not bad at this point. Here comes the 5th and final round right now. Alright, the games have been good so far. Here comes the 5th round. Let's see if it has any more for us. Well, we certainly have the ability to Mana Drain. I'm not sure we have much use for the mana if we get to do it. It all depends on what we draw off of Up the Beanstalk. I mean, Mana Drain is just at the very least counterspell. So for that reason, I'm in. Jegantha the Wellspring, opponent is 90% Mythic. Let's see if they're playing something meta or something not meta. They're going to Surveil to start. I'll have to quickly decide if I want to work on my colors here or not. I think I do, but then that means I have to Shock Breeding Pool. Alright, we will do this. I'll play a turn off if I have to. Like we can work around this, it's fine. Xander's Lounge. This also does present us as a potentially Grixis deck. They may choose their actions accordingly. Hushbringer. Oh, so that does deal with our Uro pretty nicely. It's just creatures, right? Okay, cool. So if this is like some weird, what do you call it, deck? Death and Taxes deck, I think we should be covered. The Swords to Plowshares can clear up the Hushbringer, so I'm really not worried about it. I definitely am not familiar with any deck playing this card, so we'll have to see what comes next. I do like the lands, though. These are cool. Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Urbrask's Forge. Okay, so I kind of would have liked to mana drain that. A Leyline Binding will take that out. We have access to mana drain here. We will play the Rogran Triumph here, setting up for some Swords to Plowshares action. And I think we just hold here. We have life to work with. Things are fine. They might buy their Jugantha here. We are notably not holding up a Leyline Binding right now. Wedding Announcement. This is tough. If there was ever a deck for me to want to play Cleansing Nova in, it's definitely this one. Although why would I play that in a deck that has enchantments of its own? Okay, so this is going to be hard for us to deal with. I think we definitely mana drain this. We don't really have use for it, but we can start looping the mana drain, but I don't really think I want to do that. Go to 12. We may end up just dying here to this. Brainstorm's nice. Unfortunately, all of our spells are just like pipped colors. We have Mana Drain. We have Shocked Hallowed Fountain if we really, really need it. No ability to shuffle currently. Alright, now we do have the ability to shuffle in multiple ways even. I don't want a Time Warp right now. And I think I do need the Swords to Plowshares. I think I do need the Mana Drains. Maybe I lose the basic. Sounds good. Lorien Revealed could be brought back to hand with Mystic Sanctuary. I'm just trying to figure out if I want to have Polluted Delta activate now and what I want it to pick up. Possibly just another Mystic Sanctuary getting back a Brainstorm. Okay, I'm interested in that. Next turn I could Lorien Revealed as well. But then I'd be tapped out, so I don't know how I feel about that. Oh, I could actually Lorien Revealed now, holding up Swords to Plowshares. I'm into that. This is a big draw here for me. Okay, there's a Leyline Binding finally. I think Leyline Binding is worth a few life here. This is actually the same as if it were to attack. I should have done this on their turn. Now I have to discard a card anyway. Okay, so we take that out. This is cool. And what do we get rid of? We have to get rid of 2 cards. Like, I'm happy to get rid of a Time Warp. Maybe Lorien Revealed as well. We have 3 lands. Let's get rid of one of them. Down to 9 life. They get to play whatever they want here. But I can send it back with Teferi, holding up Mana Drain as well. Boromir, it's fine. Oko, also pretty good. I think I Teferi minus sending Boromir back. And then I can Swords to Plowshares the Hushbringer if it attacks. Actually, I could also just Teferi and plus and then kill both creatures with Swords to Plowshares. I'm not going to do that, but I will put this in tapped. I don't want to go too much lower than this. I think we'll probably just exile the Boromir.
I am not your
So we have our Oko. We're setting up for infinite, quote-unquote, infinite turns. Alright, I think we let this roll for a turn, but now I'm feeling a little bit more confident than the previous turn. Or at the beginning of this turn, I was definitely not feeling as confident as I do now. We pass turn here, let him go. We are possible, we could be crippled if they take out our Xander's Lounge. Do kind of need to worry about that. That's one downside of playing only one black pip in this deck. Although we've seen in other games that it really doesn't matter that much. Alright, we allow them to attack. I want to exile the Boromir. They can't do anything about it because it's a fairy. They could sack it, sure. And they do get to tempt with the Hushbringer. Yeah, it's fine. They'll do it at the expense of a little bit of life, though. Fairy is just going to be hard stuck at 4 life for now. They buy Jugantha. Okay, we can deal with that. Move to my turn here. We'll plus again. Now we can punish their inactivity by playing Oko. Oko's going to make a food. And then Mystic Sanctuary can put something interesting on top of my library. Don't know if I need it to be Time Warp right now. I think I just hold my mana. Like, we're going to save the Sanctuary. So their Jugantha here just gets eaten by my Swords to Plowshares, so I'm really not worried about that. I'm just worried about some of these enchantments that they could play, but a lot of them seem like they're going to take a bit of a time to set up. For example, this Wedding Announcements is kind of brutal for them because I'm going to definitely mana drain this, use it to play Lorien Revealed. A Dash Dragavan here is not the end of the world. And wow! We are going to have the concession here. Alright, wow, not too bad. Really cool to see a bruise floating around here and there, even as high as 90% Mythic, which I know is not that high. Like, 90% Mythic is like, I guess, Diamond about. But, pretty cool deck here. Boromir to protect all the tokens. You don't see a lot of token builds right now. For whatever reason, I think that... even though board wipes aren't necessarily around, a lot of single target removal is. And I think they're just playing against the Bowmaster's mono black removal suite. But I think overall we've had an extremely good set of games here. 4-1 is by no shot a bad timeout. Hope you guys enjoyed the deck. Make sure to check it out in the video description. I'll have the deck list on Tapped Out if you guys want to give it a try for yourselves. Yeah, I mean, really can't complain. I do like control decks. I think Beanstalk Control is just generally really cool. It's really popular in a lot of the other Eternal formats. So, you know, if you're a multi-format gamer, go give it a try. In particularly Legacy, where they have a lot more pitch spells than our like Commandeers and Force of Vigors and Pact of Negations in this deck, or in this format rather. But yeah, you know, Timeless has been good to this deck, and I think that we do have something really solid to move forward with. So, a lot more iteration to come here. We'll see it happen in the future. And yeah, like, comment, and subscribe helps me out with the YouTube stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.